Language is a living thing. It moves and changes like people do. Long ago, North Africa was a busy place. Many different groups of people lived there. They shared ideas and, most importantly, they shared words. These words were not just sounds. They carried deep meanings about the world. One of the most important ideas was life itself. People needed words to talk about being alive, about birth, and about family. This basic concept of life became the seed for many powerful words that would travel far from home, crossing deserts and seas to plant themselves in new cultures and new languages. The journey of a word is like the journey of a river. It starts small, from a single source. In this case, the source was a simple sound connected to the idea of life. Think of the Proto-Hebrew people and their neighbors. They lived in and around North Africa and the Middle East. For them, the ultimate source of life was divine. It was a power that created everything. So the word for life and the word for God were closely linked. They were almost the same thing. This connection was not an accident. It showed how these ancient people saw their world, a world where life was a sacred gift from a higher power. This fundamental link between life and the divine is something we can see in ancient languages. The word for their God, Yahweh, is a great example. Many scholars think it comes from a root that means to be or to exist. Essentially, Yahweh was the one who is, or the one who brings into being. This is the ultimate expression of life. In a similar way, we find a very old word in the Albanian language. This simple word also means life or blood, the very essence of being alive. It shows us that different cultures, perhaps sharing a distant common ancestor, used a similar sound to talk about the most important thing they knew: life. These ancient words were like seeds carried on the wind. As people traveled, traded and migrated, they took their languages with them. The sounds and meanings mixed with other languages they met along the way. A word that meant life in one place could slowly shift its meaning in another. It could become a name for a tribe, a word for a leader, or even the name for the ultimate creator. This process is how language grows. It is not neat or tidy, it is messy and beautiful, a web of connections stretching back thousands of years to those first simple words about life in ancient North Africa. The Mediterranean Sea was not a barrier in the ancient world. It was a highway. People from North Africa and the Middle East sailed across it. They brought goods, ideas, and their words to Europe. One of these powerful word ideas was the one that started as. As it traveled, it began to change. The sound shifted a little here, a little there. In some places, the GJ sound became a G or a J sound. This is a common type of language change. Sounds often soften or harden as they move from one language to another, adapting to new mouths and new ears. Think of the Goths, a Germanic tribe that played a big role in Europe's history. Their name is very likely related to this ancient root word. It identified them as a specific people, a group, a life force in their own right. When these Germanic tribes developed their own word for a supreme being, they used the word. It is not a big leap from two. The word that once meant a specific group of living people was elevated. It came to mean the ultimate source of all life. The word had completed a long journey from a general concept of life to the name of a single, powerful deity. This transformation was not unique. We see similar patterns in other places. In some regions, the root word kept a meaning closer to people or tribe. The word, for example, comes from the Hebrew, meaning someone from the tribe of Judah. Judah, or itself, connects back to this same ancient sound family. It is a name for a people, a lineage defined by common blood and history. The word identifies a group of people who are connected, who share a common life. This shows how the same root could grow into different branches on the tree of language. So the word for God in English and other Germanic languages has a fascinating history. It did not just appear out of nowhere. It is part of a huge family of words. This family is connected by the ancient idea of life, blood, and existence. The word traveled from North Africa, changed its sound and its meaning as it moved through different cultures, and eventually gave us the word we use today. It's a reminder that even our most sacred words have a human history, shaped by migration, trade, and the slow, constant evolution of language over many centuries. When we look closely, we can find many cousins of the word. These related words are hiding in plain sight in different languages. They all share a common ancestor, the ancient root connected to life. In Albanian, for example, we see a whole family of words. We already saw life, blood, but there is also blood, alive, and uncastrated, full of life. These words show the root in its most basic form. They are all directly about the physical, biological reality of being alive. This is the foundation upon which other meanings were built. As the root sound spread, it took on meanings related to people and groups. We see this in words like, in some dialects, meaning people or tribe. This is very similar to the Hebrew Judah and the later term Jew. These words are all labels for a community, a collection of individuals bound by shared life and ancestry. The sound also appears in the word. An ancient judge was more than just a legal expert. A judge was a leader of the people, a person who held the power of life and death over the community. The word itself carries the weight of leading the tribe. The root also blossomed into words about creation and new life. This is where we get a whole set of very important English words. Think of the first book of the Bible, which tells the story of creation, the beginning of life. Or consider which is about the categories that are fundamental to creating new life. Even the word comes from this same source, referring to the parts of the body directly involved in reproduction. All these words, gene, are about the origin and continuation of life. This family of words shows us the power of a single root idea. From the simple concept of life or blood, the word branched out. It became a name for a people. It became a title for a leader. It became the name for the creator of all life. And it gave us scientific and social terms about the origins of life. Tracing these connections is like being a detective. We follow the clues left behind in different languages to uncover a deep and shared history, all starting with one simple but profound concept. The journey of the word was helped by a powerful new idea. This idea came from the Proto-Hebrew people. They began to see their God not just as one God among many. They saw their God, Yahweh, as the one and only God. He was absolute, the single source of all creation and all life. This was a revolutionary concept in the ancient world, where most cultures believed in many different gods and goddesses for different things, like the sun, the harvest, or the sea. This idea of one absolute God changed everything. It gave the concept of God a new kind of power and importance. This new monotheistic idea acted like a powerful engine. It helped spread related words and concepts across the Mediterranean. As the idea of a single all-powerful creator took hold, the word used to describe that creator became more important. The word, or its local equivalent, was no longer just a name for a tribal deity. It now represented a universal, absolute principle. This made the word highly influential. People who adopted this new belief system also adopted the language that came with it, helping these root words to become dominant in many regions. The influence of this absolute idea helped to standardize the meaning of the word. Before, the root could mean life, blood, people, or a local god. But the rise of monotheism pushed the meaning toward one specific definition, the supreme creator. This is why in many European languages today, the word or, which has a different root but a similar story, has such a clear and powerful meaning. The idea of one absolute God helped to focus the word's meaning, making it less ambiguous and more universal in the cultures that adopted it. In the end, the story of the word is a perfect example of how language and ideas travel together. It started with a basic concept of life in North Africa, represented by a sound like. This word seed journeyed across the sea, planting itself in new lands and growing into a large family of related words. The revolutionary idea of one absolute God, coming from the Proto-Hebrews, provided the perfect environment for this word to become what it is today. The spread of this single idea helped to spread a whole family of words, forever shaping the languages and beliefs of the Mediterranean world and beyond.